What's up, guys? Today we have Rachmaninoff's Moment Musical number 3 in B minor, and this is definitely my favorite of the six. I mean, it's just a gorgeous work. The contrast is awesome, and I don't know, maybe it's the circle of fourths that gets me, but just in my opinion, it's definitely the best piece out of the six. Although, maybe the others will grow on me in time. But I mean, I really do love this piece. I have the score here with me to talk about it. And I mean, something interesting to note just right off the bat is the use of the circle of fourths. You know, the circle of fourths is so standard. It kind of feels like if you use it, you're not being very creative. Like a get out of jail free card for harmony. But here he just uses it so beautifully without, I mean, in the bass, it's pretty overt. But, I mean, it just calls into questions about originality versus creativity, because the circle of fourths, or like most chord progressions, aren't original, but it's about the way you use them. And particularly in the second movement of his second piano sonata, he uses the circle of fourths in the bass in like the last part of the A section. But I mean, all the harmony and the figuration on top is, what I'm trying to say is he uses the circle of fourths, but he does it skillfully, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not overt, I don't know what harmony to write, so here's something I'm sure will sound good. He uses it intentionally in it to great effect. And then secondly, his use of rests in the beginning here is just, I mean, genius in my opinion. If you're writing a piece of music and you're like, how do I make it feel more desperate, more like hesitant? Usually people add more add more to get the feeling, but here he just puts a rest in to create that feeling, and it's just incredible in my opinion. I mean, you can kind of hear me playing in the background, but you should go listen to, for this one you should definitely listen to a recording of it. I haven't listened to a lot of recordings of this piece. If y'all know good recordings, let me know. I think my favorite so far is the one by Legansky. Just the way he plays the staccato bass, like in the march part of this, I find to be really, I don't know, just my personal favorite out of the recordings I've heard. And then another thing, I read a lot of Rachmaninoff, and the one thing people talk about Rachmaninoff's music is he had gigantic hands. I feel like that's the most prevalent thing you hear about Rachmaninoff, is like the big chords and big hands. But honestly, I read a lot of his music, and it's not like a massive problem most of the time. especially not compared, like I've had big stretches in Rachmaninoff, but I've also had big stretches in Chopin or Scriabin or other composers. So most of the time it doesn't stand out to me. But in this piece, wow, the chords are big in this piece. Just in measure 3, depending on if you include the pickup or not, you have G, B, D, F sharp, A natural. That chord is huge. I can't reach that. And then later you have an A7 chord with 5 notes. If you don't double the G and the A with your thumb, I don't think I can reach that. I mean, just throughout this whole piece, they're gigantic. And honestly, the hardest part about reading and playing this piece was actually playing it rather than like reading it. Reading it wasn't too bad because, as I mentioned earlier, it's mostly the circle of fourths. But just playing it was pretty challenging. I guess I don't have too much to say about this piece. To me, the repeat is strange because you get, to me, when the bass enters with the staccato march, it's like a moment, an important moment. And then to just repeat it just feels strange to me. Or like later, right before the piece where the bass picks up a counter melody, it just seems strange to do that twice. It's like I can't think of a more popular example right now, but the climax in Chopin's Second Piano Sonata, the first movement, it's like that climax is the most exciting part of that movement, and then to just repeat it would feel really strange. So to me, it's odd that to me the most climactic part of this piece is when the bass picks up the counter melody, and then to just repeat it. I guess that's all I got. I think the harmony in here is really great. Good for studying. I guess that's all I got.